Hey everyone, Megan here. Welcome to this live video. Today I'm going to talk about how to start your coaching business while you're still in your 9 to 5. I'm coming to you from Zoom. My Facebook is so strange. Last week it didn't work on my phone. The audio was all choppy. And then last week during the middle of the week, I tried to fix it and it was working, and now it's not working again. So I have no idea. So here we are on Zoom, and I'm excited to talk to you about this topic because this is something that I talk to a lot of clients about, is how to start a business. How do I start my coaching business while I'm in my 9 to 5? Because a lot of people do come to me who are already still working, and who simply want to start a business, but aren't sure. Whoops, hold on 2 seconds. There we are. I'm still not used to Zoom over Facebook Live, I have to say. So I'm always like, am I pressing the buttons correctly? And so I have a lot of people that come to me that are already working, or maybe they have other things on the go. Maybe they're a mom and really busy with their childcare. So when I, titled this, it's really, how do you start a business when you're so busy, right? A lot of people that have a 9 to 5, they're busy from 9 to 5, maybe beyond. If you're a mom, especially during COVID, or you're a dad and you're maybe stay at home with your kids in Canada, the kids have not gone back to school. They don't go back to school till September. So for over a year and a half or however long, kids have been at home, right? And so you have less time, right? So how do you do this? How do you start a business? How do you get coaching clients when you're absolutely strapped with time? And how do you get that energy? How do you get that mindset to continue to grow your business while you only have pockets of time, right? You only have certain hours in your day that you can really work on your business. So this is what I'm going to talk about. I hope you like this topic. I'm excited about it because I know exactly what it feels like. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story, as well as people that I have coached before. So yeah, if you're there, say hi, and feel free to comment down below. Put a 1 down below if you're watching right now. Put a 2 down below if you're watching the replay. You can also do #replay. I am back at my cottage. I'm so happy to be back, although it is quite chilly today. It is like 13 degrees Celsius. So if you're American and you do Fahrenheit, Google that. It's pretty cold. We've had really warm weather here in the mid-20s, and so hot that our grass is literally almost yellow. It's all drying up. Our neighbors actually put our sprinkler on it last week, even though we had renters come up. Our neighbors are like, we put some sprinkler on it. We have a lawn guy that comes on Wednesdays to cut the grass, and they said that our lawn guy literally drove by, stopped, and then drove and left because he's like looking at our grass, and it's just too unhealthy to cut it. Just because it's been so dry, it doesn't matter how much we're putting the sprinkler on it. Everywhere, we've just had a really dry spring and summer, although technically I think summer started yesterday. And it's just been really hot up here at my cottage. So the grass has not been happy at all. But anyway, so I'm back here. Today's cold, but it's supposed to get warmer, and we're supposed to get a whole bunch of rain next week. So fingers crossed that, I want rain, but I also have friends coming up. So I don't want us to be drenched and not being able to go on the beach. So I want rain for the grass, but I also, only want a little bit of rain, or just rain at night so that we can enjoy the day at the beach. So, okay, how do you start your business? How do you do this when you are in a 9 to 5? And the number one thing is really starting to discipline yourself with scheduling your time and understanding your time, understanding the pockets of time that you have to work in your business. This is something that it's so easy to talk about, but it's less easy to do, and being really realistic with your time. So this is what I coach on a lot with my clients, especially when my coaching really focuses on mindset, sales, as well as marketing, right? Like those are the main 3 things you really have to think about and you need in your business. You need mindset and energy. You need that. Those are the 3 things. So mindset, what does that encompass? It means that you are in a space in your brain, in your thinking, the way you think, your thoughts, your beliefs, that this is what you want to do, right? You have to have that mindset. And what that mindset is going to really trickle down to is your energy, right? You need that energy to build your business. And if your mindset ever dips, or you have days where you don't feel like doing it, that's when you know you have to work on your mindset. This is something that I work on consistently with my clients. And it's what I do with my own coach, is having that mindset on, honestly being on your game and being able to catch yourself when you are not focused on your business. If you are starting your business and you're in your 9 to 5, or you're starting your business and you're already stretched thin, your mindset needs to be like on its A game, because it's so easy to basically not do the things that you know you're supposed to be doing, because you can just put it off, or it's not as important, right? Because if it's not your full living, if you're not making a living from your coaching business, then you can always say, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, right? Or, oh, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. But unfortunately, with life, everything, the older you get, the more time goes by. And so you have to think about your time as a resource just as much as money as a resource. So you have to think, how serious am I mindset wise to take this business serious? How serious am I that I want to make this work? And if I do, I have to really understand the way my mind is going to work if I'm in a 9 to 5, if I have all these other priorities coming up, right? If you do, you're going to put your coaching business last on the list, right? Or maybe something else you put on last on the list, but it won't be something that you wake up in the morning and you're like, I got to do this, right? And so this is what, if you're someone that says, no, I want this, I want to grow my business, I know I want to make it successful, then if you're having these troubles with your mind where you keep, better word, slacking or procrastinating or just putting it off, it's because you haven't worked on your mindset and putting the value on your business, because you have so many other priorities going on. And so I want you to understand that this is something that a coach is really good at helping people with. Specifically, if this is something that you struggle with, is like, how do I get my mindset right? And obviously, a lot of us know what that means, right? It means that we have to be on our game. It means that we have to be constantly looking at our vision. It means that maybe it means journaling. Maybe it means doing affirmation. Mindset means different things to different people. So one of the things that I love to do is work with different people to discover what is going to be that thing for them that is going to get them on fire again. What is going to be that reason that, need to transform themselves and transform their businesses. And, what is it for them? Everybody is different. And so that's why you might read about mindset and say, okay, I need to start a journaling practice, or I need to start a meditation practice, or I need to start doing my affirmations, or whatever it is, right? And all of these are good. But if you make mindset a job in terms of like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, you will not do it. Okay. So you need to figure out what is right for you. And oftentimes working with a coach who understands this, will be able to help you figure out what are the activities that I need to do that are going to help me be pumped up, that are going to help me be disciplined, that are going to help me put my priorities where they need to be, and put my coaching business or starting my business or really getting clients at the top of my agenda. Because if you're not doing that, it's not going to happen. I can tell you that 100%, it's not going to happen. If it's at the bottom of your let me just take a class. If it's at the bottom of your priorities, you're not going to make it happen. And so I want you to really think about this seriously. If you're constantly saying, I want this to work, but you're not taking it serious, it's because maybe you're stretched thin. You haven't really figured out how to prioritize, or it could literally be you haven't put a value onto your business. So the number one thing is your mindset, right? And the reason why the mindset is so important is understanding is like the mindset will drive your timetable. The mindset will drive how you schedule, and the mindset will drive your energy, right? So that at the end of the day, if you say to yourself, oh, at the end of the day, I'm going to work my business, but you're exhausted at the end of your day, how are you going to work your business, right? And so I always work with my clients on this piece, this mindset piece, this time piece, this piece of energy, of understanding that your energy is everything in your business, and you have to take care of it, and you have to understand your own personal energy. And everyone's going to be different with their energy levels, right? If you're, say, a 20-year-old, you're probably going to have different energy than, say, a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old. Or you could be a 20-year-old and have different energy levels than someone who's like a super fit 30-year-old, or someone that's constantly working out or eating healthy, right? Like those things all affect your energy. Or if you have poor sleep patterns, right? All these things affect your energy, as well as the way you think. If you're thinking, oh, this is never going to happen, and oh, this is so hard, right? That is going to affect your energy. But if you're thinking, this is happening, I'm done, I know it, this is what I want to do, that's going to affect your energy. So like there's so many different elements to creating that practice, that mindset practice and belief, that having a coach supporting you through that is like going to exponentially grow your results. And that's why so many people say that when they have a coach, their results like exceed themselves, because it's so hard to do this on your own. If you have all these other priorities, you're not sure how to map them out, right? So that's the first thing, is really understanding your priorities, your time, your energy, and your mindset. And so that's the main thing. That's the main difference between someone that is building a coaching business that has like nothing. Say they, let's pretend you have lots of money, and someone's like, here, what kind of business do you want? Any business in the world. They're like, a coaching business, and you have all the time in the world, right? Then that could also be a problem, because you could just be, oh, I don't really need this. But if you're in a 9-to-5, you have to learn how to prioritize. Okay. And then the other thing is, you need to prioritize what in your business. You need to prioritize your marketing and your sales activities, right? Those are the two main things. And so if you don't have much time, then you might want to get support, right? So a lot of people that I work with, they don't realize like how much it takes energy wise and time wise to create content, to do thought leadership, to engage with people, to do those sales activities, right? This is time consuming things, right? So what I do is I look at someone's time, I look at their resource of time and their resource of money. And I say, okay, if you don't have the time, then let's invest in someone that's going to be able to help you grow your business while you can't, right? So for instance, maybe getting an assistant to help you put your social media posts out there, or maybe an assistant who's going to engage on other people's content on your Instagram or your Facebook, so that you don't have to do that, right? Everything takes time. And if you add it up, you'll be surprised how much more time it takes. I mean, the thing is, we're sold it's a laptop lifestyle, but it is a laptop lifestyle, but when you have your own business. But you also have to look at like the time it takes to do each individual task. And if you don't know that, if you don't realize that in yourself, you're going to feel like, I'm not ever getting anything done, right? So let me give you an example of, I'm going to tell you how I started my coaching business and where I'm at and how it works. So when I started my coaching business, I actually did have money saved. So I moved back to Canada in 2012, and I had taken my coach training in 2011. And I had been in a very high powered job in the States for many years and in Canada. So I had saved up quite a lot of money when I decided to move back to Canada. So I moved back to Canada in spring of 2012, and I decided I'm going to start my own business. Now, I actually started a network marketing business, which it was fine, but I wasn't like a millionaire from it. I just like, oh, I want to do this business, right? So I was kind of like flailing around a little bit in my starting of my business, which happens a lot. If you're not sure your niche, or you're not sure what you want to do, that can happen, where you're just unclear, but you keep going, and unfortunately, that could waste a lot of time. So don't do what I did. But I basically had money saved. And so I was like, I have all this money saved. I could just do whatever I want and figure this out. So what I did is I was promoting network marketing products, these health products. And I was doing some consulting. So I was promoting coaching and consulting, but more consulting. So what I did is I started my business literally by a lot of the time, my time was spent doing content. So I really focused a lot on YouTube, because back when I started in 2012, like YouTube was hot, right? Like Instagram and Facebook were, I don't even know if I was on Instagram at that point. I think I was, but I wasn't using it. I wasn't using it for business. So I focused on YouTube as a way to get my leads. So I was learning everything about internet marketing when I started. And this is something that's also interesting. A lot of people are like, I want to build a business online. I want to figure that out. I want to know how to have my website. And what happens is you get trapped in all the other things you have to do of your business. Okay. So what I got trapped in the beginning was, how do I build a YouTube channel? How do I create content for it? How do I do search engine optimization for it? So I literally, this is true story. I took 2 YouTube SEO courses, and one of them I actually flew out to Las Vegas for a whole weekend course for. And this was like thousands of dollars. And it was a huge course that I took, where I saw this woman at this guy named Eric Worre. He's like a network marketing guy. And he did this event, and I went to it in Las Vegas, I believe, wherever it was. And then she pitched from the stage. Actually, sorry. Nope, wrong. Never mind, made a mistake. It was from Brendan Burchard. So Brendan Burchard is like a personal development guy. And I think I saw him. Oh gosh, I can't even remember. Guys, see how it's so like 6 degrees of separation? You don't even know where you find these people that you're following. So anyway, I found this woman, Maria Andros, and I found her some course that I took, and she was pitching her services. And she was the only woman that was pitching her services. So I'm like, oh, cool. What is she teaching? And she was teaching on YouTube. And she had like made a lot of money on YouTube and learned how to, grow her business on YouTube. So I thought, I'm going to learn from her. I want to learn from a woman, and I want to learn YouTube. So bam, I'm going to do it. So I signed up for her course, and it was in Las Vegas. So I went to this whole mastermind all about growing your business on YouTube. Okay, so I took that and I learned how to do video marketing, and I learned literally how to do SEO for my YouTube channel. And so some of that content I actually then taught to consult, like I went into consult on. So for instance, when I first started consulting, I was mostly going into small businesses as well as old clients that I had from the advertising industry. So I would call up real estate agents and small business owners, like a yoga studio in town, and I would call them up and pitch them on marketing and services and teaching them how to do YouTube SEO and social media marketing. And I also was teaching people that were coming to me from previous clients. And when I say previous clients, when I worked for companies, I was always a sales rep or a marketing manager or director. So what that meant is I always had clients for those businesses I was representing. So I always represented businesses that kind of wanted me to be their sales rep. So they were clients of the people that I was promoting. So I called up people that were maybe clients of the companies I was promoting and say, hey, I know you've always wanted someone to help you with sales. And so I would reach out to them. So that's what I did. And then I pitched them as being really good at video marketing as well as social media marketing. So that was my first foray into coaching. So it was more consulting on sales and social media marketing, which I still do to this day, right? But I also now have coach training and do a lot of mindset. So I'm able to go beyond just like social media marketing and video and SEO, that kind of stuff. I'm really good with helping people combat limiting beliefs and overcome any things that are holding them back, because that is a whole bunch of like, you can learn all the strategy you want, right? And the reason why it was a little bit easy for me when I was consulting with these type of companies, like small businesses, is that they didn't have mindset problems, right? Like, I'm not saying that coaches have mindset issues, but usually when you're dealing with a solopreneur or someone that's just starting their coaching business or creative entrepreneurs, oftentimes there's like mindset if they're not already a business set up, or even if they're going to that next level. So a lot of the companies I was basically consulting with were already established. So they weren't having the problem of like, oh, what should I do? Or I'm not sure, I'm having problems with this. It was mostly things that I was dealing with were team, right? So they maybe had a sales team that I would have to train on, or maybe themselves, they wanted to learn a new skill. And so I still do that type of work, but I love working, especially with women entrepreneurs. And I love working with creatives and coaches who want to build their business and maybe don't have their business completely sorted and have this like big, huge company, right? I was more into going at the beginning of my marketing consulting stage. I was more going into bigger companies and doing that kind of marketing and selling. Okay, so I did that. So that's what I was doing, as well as doing network marketing, and it was going okay. But I wasn't like, I was getting clients here and there, but I was going through during 2012, 13, 14. My mom was really sick and she died in 2014. So my mindset myself wasn't that great. My mindset was, I'm going to work hard, but I'm still grieving. Like I was in the pre-grieving stage. So I wasn't, I was like, okay with just a few clients because I was just overwhelmed with my life, right? With my personal life and my mom being sick, I was trying to help out. So I just like gave myself that space to grieve. And also I had money saved up. So that was okay with that. So then I started running out of money. And so I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And my mindset was still kind of in the gutter. And I was not strong enough in my mindset to at some point I like let go of clients. Like I was like, okay, I don't have the energy right now to deal with clients. I need to do something else because it was too stressful for me. I think at one point when I was going through my mom and grieving, I just felt like helping people with their mindset and that it was just I just had a hard time with it. So I sort of stopped coaching for a little bit. And which is so strange to talk about, but it's true. I mean, I started off doing coaching and consulting. Then I went through some grief period and what happened, it wasn't like I canceled the contracts with people. It was just like a 6-month coaching contract would end and then I wouldn't renew it, or I just was like not searching for clients and I wasn't going to networking events like I had been before. I was just burned out a little bit. And I'd been really high up in the corporate and then I got into coaching and my mom was really sick. So I was just tired. I was just like, oh, I don't feel like doing this and working this hard to get clients. So I really relaxed it. And I started, letting myself only have a few clients. And then I was getting like jobs here and there to supplement my income. And I was realizing that I really like coaching, but I also had all these other things that I like to do as well. So what happened is in 2015, I ended up getting project work for a nonprofit where I could do films. And I really, really loved this, but the work was, I wasn't always getting films. I wasn't always doing the stuff that I love, but I just, started doing that and then doing the coaching. And once I got that, that role really spurred on my creativity. So I didn't feel like I had to get all my creativity from my coaching. So I come from creative fields. And when you're from the creative industry, you're always doing different things. You're always around creative people and coming up with ideas. And not that I didn't think the coaching industry was creative. Of course it's creative. Like you're coming up with your own content, you're being a thought leader. But there was a part of me that was missing from the advertising industry. And so when I found this nonprofit and had the ability to do these films, I jumped at that chance. So I started doing that and I started doing that a lot. And then what I was doing, I was slowly bringing back my coaching business alongside that. So that gave me the confidence again, because I was like in my creativity to then bring on clients again. And I know it's so weird. It's like almost backwards that I had my coaching business. Then I stopped, did weird jobs, odd jobs. Then I started doing kind of like freelancing of creativity. But once I had my creative juices and had that energy again, that's when I started bringing on clients again. So it's such an interesting contrast. So I know it's a little bit backwards than a lot of people, but it really is the case for me, is that when my creative juices were flowing, when I was out of the grieving period, when my energy was high, I was ready to take on clients again. And so now I actually still do films. So I'm actually working on a film right now. Well, it's actually what it is. It's a research phase. So it might turn into a short film. I'm not sure, but I'm actually in the process of interviewing people from different cultural backgrounds in my city and doing interviews of their experiences and being a new immigrant. So it's really exciting for me. I love talking to people. Obviously, I love talking to people when I'm coaching with my coaching clients, but I also love working on a project basis on different opportunities to be able to then tell stories, right? At the end of the day, I'm a storyteller, right? I am a content creator. I'm someone that loves to become a visionary and come up with ideas. So I love to be like a director. So usually what I do for my films and the content I create is I come up with like the idea, the vision. And, when I'm doing these interviews, I'm coming up with like, what is the next video or the next film that I can be doing? What can that theme be? So interviewing people is going to help me come up with that theme. Someone keeps texting me. Okay, never mind. Okay, so not a big deal. I just checked my text and I just turned it off. I'll answer after. And so, so the way I work is I'm like the director, the visionary. So I come up with the idea and I like to come up with a story. And then I like to work with a videographer and an editor to help me tell that vision of that story. I should share some of the videos I've done because I'm really proud of some of my short films that I've done because they really came from that place of that idea that I had, that I hatched. Or sometimes it's like, I can't believe this is the case. I can't believe this has happened. And then I tell that story. Let me give you an example of one. I'm just going to share my screen because why not, right? We're on Zoom, and so I can share my screen. So let me just go to here we go. I'm going to go to my website. I'm just going to tell you a story about one of them. So where's my films? Here we are. These are just some of them. So I'm going to tell you one that I'm really proud of, actually. So, okay. So this is a story of, so I live in a city that's a suburb of Toronto. And I found out, I grew up in Mississauga, even though I've traveled the world and lived in different countries. And I traveled the world. Well, what am I saying, guys? Sorry, I'm a little bit out there. Hold on, I have water. I didn't mean I traveled the world, but I have traveled the world. But what I mean for this is that I've lived in Mississauga, went to school there, but I didn't realize that there was a huge feminist, not feminist, but like important thing that was going on in the community that I had no idea of. So basically in the 1940s, when it was World War II, in Mississauga, where I grew up, there's this factory. It's like remnants of this factory. And I went to this factory in like 2016 and they weren't sure what was going to happen, if the government was going to save it, if they're going to tear it down, if they're going to turn it into a cultural hub. And I remember thinking, how do I not know about this place? I've lived in this city most of my life. How do I not know that here 2/3 of the workforce were women? Right? And they made armaments like rifles and Enfield rifles for the Second World War during the 40s. And when most women didn't work, right? It was widows and single women. And so they had called down women from all over Canada to work in this factory, right? And they were in residence and it was amazing. So like, I need to hear this story. So what I did is I tracked down 5 people in their 90s, who are like 90 years old because they had worked there in the 40s, right? And so I found these people, like I just researched, I looked for them. I literally went into Facebook groups. I tried to find out who could do it. And I ended up getting this video shown at the council, which is we have we're like the 6th or 7th largest city in North America or Canada. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But we're a pretty big city. We have like over 1 million people and well, maybe almost 1 million. I don't know. I should look that up. I'm giving you guys all bad facts. I have no idea about my own city. Let me just see here. I'm going to look at how big the city is. Anyway, I got to present this video in front of the council and city councilors and mayor, and as well as a festival, because it was well-known video that I did. And it was really unique in that I tracked these people down and got them all together in one place to tell their stories. And so I did 2 videos with them. I did one of them where I basically had this vision of how I interviewed them and had my videographer and editor, and they were with me and I interviewed them and I got the stories, and then I looked at the footage, and then from there I wrote the script. And from that script, I created a video where I had this like image. I wanted black and white. I wanted close up faces. And then they basically, it was me with a voiceover. Well, I actually got two people to do the voiceover for me, two older people. So it would sound like, someone in the video. And then that was the telling of the story, basically like, hey, did you know about this place? Like that 2/3 of the workforce were women, and how important this building is for women, especially during the 40s when women didn't really work that much. And what they worked on was so important. So I did that story of voiceover. And then I actually retold it where I had my editor, I took the transcripts and then I moved it around and I cut the interview so that it'd be another video, and that was like 11 minutes where they told their stories. I'm just so proud of this video because I actually interviewed 6 people because I found these people in their 90s. It was just something that I came up with. And so I want you to know that like whatever you decide to do in your life, you can be creative. I never thought that I could do films. I never thought that, my sales career would lead me to doing storytelling and coaching and learning from people. Like I realized that I love people. I love being a people person. I love meeting new people, but I didn't know that it could be something that I could do for a living. Like everything I do lights me up. Interviewing people for different projects and figuring out how can I turn that into a video or a film, or, how can I turn this immigrant story into something unique. Right now I'm doing the immigrant story. That was a story of people that worked at a old factory, right? But now I'm doing something where I'm coming up with a story for people that immigrated to Canada. And I've got different themes. I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to do them on in the future in terms of the videos. One of them is really interesting is that people from Pakistan that came to Canada in the beginning, maybe in the 1950s, there was no place for halal meat. And I started seeing that as a theme when I'm interviewing people, that they came to Canada and there was no halal meat. And so they had to go to a farm, right? In Milton, which is like a little bit away, or they had to go to Owen Sound, which is by my cottage, or they had to go to downtown Toronto. And so that was a theme. So I start having these themes. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're starting a business and you're in a job, or you're starting a business and you have other things on the go, it's still possible, right? You can still get coaching clients. You can still do your passion projects. Like for me, my passion projects are films and getting projects to work on things like interviewing people to come up with a film or create content or for the community. But I'm also passionate about coaching women and coaching people to start their businesses online, right? Because it's something that I myself learned. And so it is possible, but you have to understand yourself. You have to understand what motivates you. You have to understand what you get lit up by, because if you're not lit up by your business, if you're not lit up by the people you coach, you're not going to continue to do it. You're not going to continue to grow. You need to find out, like, do I like coaching one-on-one? Do I like doing group coaching? Like I've done both. I've done group coaching and one-on-one, right? And I do right now, I'm doing a lot more one-on-one because it works well for my schedule. I really love that intense connection, but there's might be a time, like I've done group coaching before where I do a group of people and I'm thinking about doing a mastermind. That's something that I have coming up. And so it's really understanding your energy and understanding how you work. Like this is something that it's sometimes hard to know ourselves. It really is. It's, I've worked with my coach a lot to figure out, what my coaching style is, the type of people I like to coach, those, premium clients, so to speak. But really, it's kind of a made up word, right? Like a high-end client, a premium client. The person that I want to coach is invested in themselves. They're invested in growth. They're excited. And it's not someone that I have to like convince to do this, right? To convince to coach. For me, if you're someone that isn't a 9-to-5 or someone that is doing other things, or you maybe have a kid at home and you're just so busy, it's not my job to, as a coach, to make sure that you are doing the work, but it is my job to make sure that I understand the way your mind works and your energy, and being able to help you understand that yourself. Okay, so there is a difference. There's a difference between mindset coaching where you're basically, you can do it, and texting them every day and making sure that they're staying accountable. Did you do the work? Did you post on social media today? Did you do your Facebook Live? Did you go on Instagram stories? Did you do your sales activities? That's babysitting, right? That's not what I do. What I do is when I coach with someone, it's really mindset, right? Like I teach them selling and marketing strategy, like messaging, how to get clients, how to do calls, how to, get those clients in, and what kind of brand strategy. But really the key thing is understanding who you are, understanding your motivations, understanding the way you discipline yourself, understanding what lights you up, understanding what's going to drive you. That is your coach's job as well as your own job, right? Obviously, your coach can coach you on that a lot. But eventually, you have to start seeing that yourself, right? And being able to understand yourself so that when you come to a coach, you can say, hey, guess what? I did that habit again, that bad habit. I did that procrastinating habit again that I've done before, right? And a lot of us can't see our bad habits, or don't know where our limiting beliefs are coming from. Like, don't know where our blocks are coming. Don't realize why we're not putting the content out there. Why is there that writer's block, right? How do you get inspired? Why is there that block around reaching out to someone? Why is there a block about being visible online, right? Where do these blocks come from? Why are they happening to you, right? And so that's the work that I have continue to do as I grow in my coaching business and in my creativity as a storyteller and as a director and writer, right? I'm constantly as a creative, you're always going to come up with blocks, right? I can tell you that it's very common if you're a creative type to sometimes have writer's block, to sometimes have, I don't want to do this, but there is something called flow, and there is something called momentum that once you get into it, it really helps you move that time forward. And it really helps to have someone to really talk to you about these things and help you through these. So instead of being someone that's constantly pushing you, like pushing that rock up the hill and, oh, don't forget to do this or do this, it's really looking at your own mind, looking at the way you work, understanding who you are as a person, who you are in terms of your vision, your values, where you want to go. And that's what's going to ultimately drive you when you have all these other things going on in your life, right? Once you know who you are, once you understand your purpose, once you understand what you're good at, once you understand what you love to do, then you can get outside resources and a virtual assistant and help you do the other things that maybe don't light you up as not much. But you do sometimes want that person to reflect back on you. And so that when you come to a coaching call week after week, and maybe you haven't done something, it's not about being like, how come you didn't do that, right? It's more like, let's investigate this. Let's figure out why this is something that you're not taking action on. Is it a time thing? Is it something that you're not motivated to do this task for some reason or another, right? And that's what I love to do with my clients. And it is hard work. It's hard work to, detangle all the mindset stuff and detangle all those limiting beliefs, as well as those specific things we think about ourselves and the things we think we can't do when we can do them. So that's all I have to say. I hope that you really got the message across, and that if you're looking for a coach, I would love to support you in your journey. And you can actually click the link below to get on a discovery call with me. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you soon. Bye.